Hey guys, welcome back to our second day of Snowy Woods. And as you can see, I'm outside of the middle school and right near the woods, and there's some snow still out here. We're going to kick it off right now with some reading. I just want you to escape into those books. Get in there for a good 10 minutes and just read and just enjoy. All right, see you back in about 10 minutes. Okay, welcome back. So take a look. Here's your warm-up. Just, take a little time and think about this. How are you going to stop and watch the woods fill up with snow like this week? What are you going to do to de-stress? Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to go hike the woods? What are you going to do? And what are some of the promises to keep that you have? And what are some of the miles you still have to go? Are your miles to go to get through college and to get a good job or to become a pro athlete? What are some of those? And think about your book. Where does your character go to find their peace? What do they do to decompress? I know that in the story Blended, she plays the piano. That helps her to decompress and to de-stress. So teachers, just take a couple minutes and share some of these thoughts out loud in your crew, and then we'll continue on. All right. I'm going to just take a second and I'm going to reread the poem to you from yesterday. And I just want you to follow along as we get our thoughts right back into stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. All right, please open up those questions that you were working on yesterday. So get those questions opened right now. All right, guys, I'm going to go through and just kind of talk to you about your different answers. And if you've got something similar to mine, that's great. If you want to add or jot a little something extra to yours, that's great. And you'll be able to use these to help you with your work today. So let's take a look. Number one is talking about the setting, the time. What does it look like, feel like, sound like? Describe it. So the poem takes place at night in a quiet wooded area during a gentle snowfall. There are no people or cities around. It's really peaceful. So if you have something like that, if you need to add to yours, go ahead. Take a look at number two. So number two, why did the author make these choices for the setting? Why did it happen in winter? Well, winter's pretty quiet. It's pretty peaceful. There's not a whole lot of movement going on in the wintertime. Letter B, why would it take place in the woods? Well, the woods are really secluded. They're away from the busy cities and the neighborhoods, and it allows for the speaker to actually be with nature and to get away from it all. And, nature's a great way to unwind and de-stress. If at any point in time you need to pause, go ahead and pause. You should just be kind of checking yours. You should have kind of pretty close to these. Letter C. Why would the author have the poem take place at night? Well, the evening time's pretty quiet. It's pretty peaceful, and people aren't going to be traveling and interfering or interrupting his quiet time. And even the animals are a bit quieter at night. There's some night animals, but most of them are pretty quiet. Number three. Why do you think, so this is a you think, the man on the horse, why do you think the speaker, why did he stop traveling to watch the woods? Why would he just stop? Well, the speaker's probably stopped because he needs a break. He needs to unwind. He needs to let go of his worries. He needs to just breathe. And I think we've all had that before. So number four, it says, why would his horse think it's strange to stop? Now it says his horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. It just means the horse is like, dude, why are we stopping? And what that shows is that the horse isn't used to stopping. They probably travel this path frequently and they never stop. And so the horse is like, what's going on, dude? It shows that the man, he's really busy. He doesn't usually take time to unwind or to just look at how beautiful the forest really is. Number six, the mood, the feeling, the tone of the poem, it changes from that very first stanza to the fourth stanza. So at the very beginning of the poem, the speaker he's calm and he's happy, and the mood is light and it's peaceful. And at the end of the poem, the speaker is feeling more stressed, pressure, to get back to the reality. So the mood is a little more stressful or down. So you definitely see a shift. Number 6, what comment about life is our author, Robert Frost, making when he writes this? But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Basically, what is Robert Frost saying about life? Well, I think that Robert Frost is telling the readers that we do have responsibilities and things that need to be done before we can rest. We do. We've got to do those things. And our lives, they are busy, full of those things. Life is busy with those promises to keep. All right. Number 7 is coming up with an image. So what do you think the meaning of the poem is? What does Robert Frost want us to take away from reading his poem? So what do you think? I put in here this picture, and it reminds me of when we were stacking stones in the Upper Peninsula. And I just think he says, we do need to take time to de-stress and enjoy life, but we also have responsibilities too. There are things that we do need to do, but we also need to take care of ourselves, and we need to unwind and unplug it and appreciate the things that are around us. So you should have taken a minute to just kind of check over your answers. Teachers, pause at any point and let students just make sure they add a little bit to theirs, and then we'll move on. Okay, before we get into your work for today, there's a couple of things you need to take a look at when it comes to our poem. So poetry is written in stanzas, and let's look at this one. Now, some poems rhyme and some don't, and they all have a reason for that. Your poets have a reason that they write this way. So I want you to take a look at something called the rhyme scheme. So we're going to look right here. Look at the ends of each of these lines. So this one is no, though, here, and snow. So for every word that rhymes with no, we would give an A. So no, A. Though, A. Here doesn't rhyme with no, so here would be a B. And snow rhymes with no, so it would be an A. So the pattern for this stanza is A, B, A. Watch how it goes, and let's try this one. All right, so look at this one. And you have to take it out of full screen in order to type in it. So this one ends with, it's going to rhyme with here. So you can see right here, the letter B is here. Here, queer. Those rhyme. So I'm going to put a B. The next word, near, it rhymes with here. So I'm going to put a letter B. The next word is lake. It doesn't rhyme with no, so I can't do a letter A. It doesn't rhyme with here, so I can't do a letter B. So I'm going to have to give it a letter C. And then there's year. Year rhymes with here. So the pattern for this one is B, B, C, B. All right. Take a second. Look at the next line. What do you think the pattern is? So take a look at it. What do you think the pattern is? If this one was A, B, A, this one's B, B, C, B. What do you think this one is? Give you just a second. We've got shake, mistake, sweep, flake. All right, so lake was our letter C, and shake rhymes with lake. So we've got a C. Mistake rhymes with lake, so we have another C. Sweep doesn't rhyme with anything here, so now I've got a letter D. And then flake, again, right there is a letter C. Let's look at the next line. See if you can do the pattern in the next line. We've got deep, keep, sleep, sleep. What do you think the pattern is right here? So just take a second and just kind of come up with what do you think the pattern is, and then we'll talk about it. All right, so most of you should have come up with this one. And just give you a couple of minutes of think time. So this one is deep, which rhymes with sweep from back here, so it's a D. And then keep rhymes, and that's a D. And then we have sleep again and sleep again. So you'll notice it's D, 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 D. So why do you think the writer made this choice? And how does it connect with what's happening? You'll notice A, B, B, C, B. And you can see the connections. So why do you think he made this choice? Well, the reason he makes this choice is the poem's done. See, the B leads you to the next line. The C leads you to the next line. The D leads you to the next line. And the poem is done. You want to get really deep with this as we go into the deeper meaning of this poem. The D not only symbolizes that the poem is done, but that the guy's life is done. that those miles to go before he sleeps are all the things that he needs to do in life before he dies, all the things he wants to accomplish, all the things before he dies. So that ends the poem, and it also ends the guy's lifeline as you're seeing it. All right, so it's kind of a cool thing to notice why the poet might do something like this. All right, here's another cool thing. So you're just going to take like about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe not even that, maybe just 3 minutes inside your crew and discuss what you think the symbols are that are going inside this poem. Like the village. It's not really just a village. It symbolizes something bigger. And what do you think the woods symbolize? They don't just symbolize the woods, they symbolize something else. And the horse, he actually symbolizes something other than the horse. And promises, what is that symbolic of? And miles to go? And before I sleep, what do you think those really mean? What are they symbolizing? So they've got bigger meaning. So just take a few minutes, talk about it, and then we'll see how you did. All right, so hopefully you had a fun little discussion, just a couple minutes of what everybody thinks they meant. And let's take a look. So the village can symbolize society and those rules. Being in that village is all the things he's got to do. The woods is that temptation, that freedom to just go away. And the horse, this one's kind of cool. Lots of people like to say the horse symbolizes transportation. He kind of does. He symbolizes that tie to society, that reminder. It's his conscience. Like, dude, we shouldn't be stopping. You've got stuff to do. Those promises to keep that you're seeing here, that's the job and the family and all the things he's got to, take care of with others, and those miles to go. That's his whole life to live and all those things to accomplish. And finally, before he sleeps, before he can rest, before he has that eternal rest, before he dies, all of those come in under that. All right, pretty cool, kind of looking at the deeper meaning of just this small poem. Okay, now that we've gone over all of these things, it's time for you to get to work on today's assignment. So let's take a look at it. Right below your work, you're going to come to an area that says close and critical reading. There are 4 questions here that you need to answer. And there is going to be, I'm going to put a little link on here to give you kind of some guides on how to answer each of these questions. Down below is a guide on how to answer each of these questions, but I'm going to walk you through it. So at this point in time, you can work independently, or you can click on the next video link to hear me explain each question, because sometimes people are like, I don't get what I'm supposed to do for number 1. I don't get what I'm supposed to do for number 2. So I'm going to talk you through that in the next video. All right. So you'll just go ahead and there'll be a little video right here with the close and critical reading for you guys to follow along in.